Would you believe me if I told you that my biggest, most profound change in tango happened during COVID without even dancing? Well, it might sound crazy, but it is totally true. In this video, I'm going to share with you how the forced pause of COVID for more than a year from dancing actually helped me change my way of dancing a lot more than if I had continued taking classes. I will also let you know what did I do and what kind of resources can help you go through a similar period of break from the dance. Welcome to Good Night Tango, your channel about tango in real life. I'm Christos, I'm dancing tango for more than 8 years, and for the last 3 years I'm also writing about that in my blog. This channel is here to encourage you start your own tango journey and hopefully be there for you in your first steps in it. When you are involved in a hobby that has to do with physical activity, and you're forced to have a break because of an injury, because of a disease, because of whatever other conditions in life, like COVID, for example, that stopped us from dancing for more than a year, it is natural to think about that as an obstacle, as something that will maybe hinder your progress or even get you back to the beginning. But it doesn't really have to be like that. A few weeks before everything freezed because of COVID, I had the opportunity to take a class with Michael Lavoca. The class was not about moves or sequences or whatever else. The class was about the story of Juan D'Arienzo and, if I remember correct, also Francisco Canaro. The orchestras, the men, their life stories and how this influenced their own music and how the music has evolved. For those of you who don't know who Michael Lavoca is an author, and actually I would call him a tango historian who has written a lot of books about different orchestras and their stories. So as I said, a couple of weeks after the seminars with Michael Lavoca, the world froze. You all remember the story. We stopped dancing, all milongas freeze, and actually, we didn't really know when something will open back. In the beginning, we thought it would be just for a couple of weeks. I remember texting with my friends and saying, okay, it's just a couple of weeks. We will get back soon. It's okay. And then we started realizing it will be much longer. In the beginning, when I started realizing that this period would be much longer than expected, I started having some anxiety, some longing of this connection that we had in the milonga, this connection that we had during dancing tango. So I tried to find something to compensate for that. In the beginning, I was listening to a lot of music and I was actually watching a lot of videos, maybe trying some exercises at home and things like that. I was mainly focused on the exercise part or the moves part or the steps part. Although I didn't have any partner, I was just practicing alone so that I could improve my technique. And then I realized that I could do something even more. I mean, I was stuck in the home almost all day. I would just go out shopping in the supermarket like 2 or 3 times a week. And the only thing that I could do at house was like read, listen to music, maybe exercise a little bit, and watch TV. So I said, what can I do to improve tango or maybe keep in touch with it? Having met Michael before COVID and having seen how passionate he is and how well he presents the stories of the orchestras and everything else, I was pretty much convinced by some of his books. So I went into Amazon, I searched for his books, and I actually bought, I think, 4 of them for the main 4 orchestras. And I started reading them. I wasn't expecting to have any big change from that. But I remember my teacher telling us that if you want to improve your tango, you should start getting into the culture a little bit more, starting learning about orchestras, start learning about the music, the stories about the songs and whatever else. So I said, okay, this is a good opportunity. I'm not dancing, I have free time. Why not start reading about it? Why not take the books and start reading about it? And this is how it all started. Given that the only connection that we had during COVID was mainly through social media and online, I found out through Facebook that Michael was starting a new project together with Doug Stenvold, who is a DJ from Bergen. So they called this project Tango by Year, and the idea was that they would make some Zoom meetings every week where they would take 1 year, and Doug, who was the DJ, would pick some songs without Michael knowing them, And he would play the songs and Mikkel would comment by telling some stories about the orchestras or the songs or whatever else. So it was this kind of interaction, this playful interaction, because one would pick some songs, the other would probably have some other in mind, or maybe would have something special to say about them. And this was the kind of interaction that was going on between them. And we were present in these meetings and we were commenting and we were chatting in the chat with each other, commenting about what we were experiencing that time. So this was a very nice break from sitting on a couch only and just watching passively videos or whatever else. It was also a very nice opportunity to interact with other people that we had the same passion, and I was kind of broken. I was kind of disconnected from them. But what actually happened also is that all these meetings were recorded and they were published also for free in SoundCloud, so you could revisit and listen to them again later on. The whole work in Tango by Year and all these recorded audios of these sessions that we had amounted into tens of sessions and hundreds of hours where you can find details and stories and nice music separated by a year. You might think that this is something trivial. You might think that this is something not so important, but if you start listening to this podcast now, I would say, lack of any other better term for what happened actually, it's something very interesting because it's actually like an encyclopedia of tango music split by year. Listening to all these and actually participating live in most of them when they were actually happening in the chat was a very nice experience, which helped understanding a little bit more tango music and its evolution. You can see how tango progressed throughout the years, and you can see also how trends and popular things that happened during the tango history influenced all the different orchestras and how each orchestra took trends and adjusted to their profile, adjusted to their style and used them. Last but not least, I also started consuming a lot of videos in YouTube with interviews from dancers or from musicians or from other people that are related to the tango history, to the tango culture in general. One of the most important and one of the most interesting channels that I could suggest to everybody, and if you haven't searched and if you haven't found it, go on and search it. I will put a link in the comments. Is Pepa's Palazon channel with a series of videos which are called Tengo una Pregunta. Pepa was a journalist before joining the world of tango, and she uses this background as a journalist and she conducts a lot of interviews. She has conducted a series of interviews with different people in Argentina, with different people from great dancers like Chicho and Alejandra Mantignan, to also musicians, to also old milongueros that you can go and see. And through that, you can understand a little bit more about the culture, about the history of different dancers, about the history of different styles of dancing, and generally, not only about the music, not only about the dancing, but the general culture behind tango, the milongas, the behaviors of dancers, of milongueros, all these kind of other things around tango, as it was back then in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and how it evolved and how it keeps evolving today. So you might think that consuming all this content, reading all these books, watching all these videos, and learning about the history, the music, the songs, the orchestras, and all these other stories might not really affect your dance. I was actually believing that before I started diving into them. I actually thought, okay, the dance is a dance. It's just movement. You just move your body, you have to communicate with your partner, and that's all. What's more into that? This is more of the technical part of the tango, but tango and the songs and the orchestras and everything that we dance conveys some emotion, conveys some messages. And when we dance, we actually want to tune in, if we want. I mean, that is my purpose, at least for me, to tune in with this music, to understand a little bit how it works, what it conveys, and transfer this to our partner and communicate this with our partner, and actually receive also from our partner their input, so that we have a discussion on that kind of story that we hear from the song. So listening and consuming all this content actually changed profoundly my way of dancing, because whenever I was listening to a song that I knew about the story, I understood the lyrics a little bit better, or I knew the orchestra or whatever else, my way of dancing was now adjusted to the feeling and to the emotion that I had within me. I remember, for example, reading stories about Troilo's Sur, for example, one of the very important songs from Troilo, and how it relates with immigration and how it relates with people going back to the roots. This resonated with me, and now every time that I hear this song in the milonga, every time that I listen to this song and I'm dancing to this song, I'm deeply affected, and my body expresses it in the way that it expresses it. So I realized that my dance stopped being just mechanical and became a little bit more emotional. So given all this, I think there is a key takeaway here that is not only applicable to tango, but in life in general. I mean, whenever you feel that in life something happens and it takes you 1 or 2 steps back in life, or in your progress in tango, in another hobby, try to reframe it, try to think about it differently, and try to find ways to react to that, and try to find ways to navigate that will help you come back to this even stronger. I could have easily quit tango. I could have easily stopped dancing. I could have easily stopped learning about the music, about the orchestras, about whatever else. Because when you realize that you will not dance for 1 or 2 years, you can easily find other hobbies and other things and other activities to do, and you can easily forget about it. And this happened to a lot of people during COVID. There are a lot of dancers that during COVID quit tango, or maybe started dancing less after tango, and they don't dance so often as they danced before. But if you love something, but if you really like something, like a passion, like a hobby that you're really passionate about, I bet that you will find ways to keep in touch with that and even progress without actually doing the obvious thing, without actually like exercising, whatever else. People might have breaks from tango due to injuries, due to illnesses, due to accidents, due to anything. Coming back from them, or using that time that you're not dancing actually to progress in other ways of tango, in immersing yourself maybe in the culture, in understanding a little bit more about the music, the orchestras, can help you come back even stronger and with an even better experience. There is a saying in Greek that I want to leave you with this. It says that nothing bad in life comes without something good in it. So let me know in the comments, did you have similar breaks? I mean, you all had the break of COVID, but what did you do during the break? I mean, did you feel that you progressed? Did you feel that you taken a step back and you had to go back from the beginning, or in your dance or whatever else? How did you approach this thing, and how would you approach a break in the future, maybe from an injury, maybe from an accident or whatever else? I don't wish to anybody to have breaks from dancing, breaks from tango, but life is life. Things happen, and it's good to have some alternatives. It's good to have some ways to battle this, to navigate, to, find our way to continue in life. If you want to learn more about my journey in terms of self-expression in tango and in life, this video over here tells my story. Check this out, and don't forget to move forward, both in the dance floor and in life. Bye!